Now, the post that I'm responding to, which I wasn't going to link anyways, because the person in question, I didn't want people giving them crap, especially based off of the video this video. But unfortunately, I cannot see it anymore. It had a picture that was from one of those sites like autocorrect.com or something like that, or iPhoned, which copies people's conversations and things of that nature. It was a post that it was post between a father and a son, and the son is saying something to somebody of a sexual nature, and the father says, "But don't you have a girlfriend named Sally?" And the son says, "Well, one of them." And the dad apparently says, "Good for you, son." And this person, who is also a lesbian, which does somewhat pepper their expression of how they are, because part of why they became how they are, as it's been relayed to me by some family members, is because they had some bad experiences with men. And I'm not discounting her experience, but if you're getting into becoming a lesbian more because of bad experiences with men, then you're doing it wrong. I've had horrible experiences with women, but I don't see me being a women-hating man who's also gay now. But it's far and beyond that, because what she wrote above the picture was, "Wow, this is why men should never be allowed to parent." And I'm like, excuse you? I mean, I tried to respectfully talk to this person because it was one of those kinds of situations, and I said, "So all the good I've ever done as a parent, everything I've ever done for my son is meaningless because I can't be a good parent, huh?" And this person got defensive. They said, "Well, I was trying to talk about scumbag men and deadbeat dads in general." Well, saying, "Wow, this is why men shouldn't be parents," is a long way away from saying, "Wow, this is an example of a scumbag deadbeat dad and a reason why, uh, maybe a reason why there should be a test or a licensing for parenting." I wouldn't be offended by that because it wouldn't be taking a shit all over everything I have ever done, pardon my language, for my son. I have worked back-breaking jobs to make sure he had everything he needed for school, food in his belly, a roof over his head. I have sacrificed time and even relationships that would have been kind of good for me but not good for him for his sake. And let's back this up even further for just one moment, because I'm getting sick and tired of this as far as an overarching conversation that just gets swept under the rug. Now, if this father is teaching his kid to go behind the back of all of his girlfriends and fuck whoever he wants to fuck, pardon my language, and wants to just constantly be banging chicks left and right without caring about these women, then yes, I would have a problem with that. But if, for the sake of argument, this kid is polyamorous, something we don't talk about in the grand scheme of society because we don't want to talk about anything. We want to think that monogamy is the default position of humanity, and it's not, as I've talked about and as I've demonstrated through a documentary of somebody who has done longitudinal studies on how non-monogamous our species is and how that kind of repression is actually hurting us more than it's helping us. But that's a whole giant topic other than that. But let's say, for the sake of argument, this kid is polyamorous. This is just how his heart is, that he is capable of deep, meaningful relationships, but with more than one person. Should that son still be demonized? Should he be not told about polyamory? Should he not be allowed to reflect and think to himself, "Gee, am I really polyamorous or am I just a dick?" You know, and this is the topic, this is the discussion we're not willing to have. If a man dares to have multiple relationships, he's a playa. Never mind if a woman should choose to do the same thing, then she's a slut, she's a hoe. And she doesn't deserve any respect, she doesn't deserve any protection under societal law because she is now a non-person, as is to a degree the man. People don't like to talk about when men are ostracized for having multiple relationships. It does happen. But it's not as mainstream and is certainly not something that's done amongst men. But that's more societal rules than anything, and that's a whole nother thing. But let's say, for the sake of that, oh, so the son is wrong for loving in the polyamorous way that he is, if all of his partners knew about each other and if he went about it in a right way. Oh, no, that's right, I forgot. It's monogamy or you're cheating with permission. What a very progressive and biologically supported way of thinking that is. Now, back to the topic at hand, though. No, I'm sorry. Yes, you have the freedom to, because then later on the person went on to then just say, well, geez, I guess I can't say what I want on I'm not free to say what I want on my Facebook page, am I? Yes, this is a bit of Facebook drama, but that's not why I'm bringing this up. This is about a bigger topic that we're not having that we should be having, which will also spill into the next video, but I'll get to that when I get to that. And I said to her, no, you have the freedom to say whatever you want to, and it can be your opinion. It doesn't necessarily make it right, it doesn't necessarily make it wrong, but you are not free from the consequences of saying something that's clearly ignorant. Now, and I made the point of saying, you said in your post above, which was still left unaltered, that men cannot be good parents, that it'll lead to them turning their sons into pigs, sexist, misogynistic, women-hating pigs, or women-objectifying pigs. No, it doesn't. And you do not have any evidence to support it. And it's because of ideals like you that courts oftentimes award the mom, no matter how irreprehensible the woman is, the kids, because they're, by and large, seen as the more, the more able to be caregivers, more able to give correct raising of their kids. Never mind when that woman turns around and then uses some of those laws that are meant to go after deadbeat dads to basically destroy the life of this guy in petty vengeance, and not for some reasons that would be good for the kids. And moreover, it's saying that despite how good of a dad I have been, despite how much sacrificing I've done, despite how much respect I have for women and how much I try to instill that in my son, I can never be a good dad. Because there's no such thing. Because men are all scum. Because men are all terrible. Because men are unable to think about anything other than sex and their penis. And they will pass that on to the next generation of their kids. Now, scumbag parents, yes, they will do that, but you know what? That happens in two-parent homes as well, so screw you as well for thinking that oh, my single parent, my single fatherhood has been meaningless, that I should just throw all my accolades and all the things I've done right with my son out the window because I'm a man, because I have a penis. I automatically am wrong. I'm automatically bad, and I should have my child taken away because I have an inability to be a good caregiver. If you think that, then you can fuck right off. And pardon the language, but I'm sorry. You can't come into my news feed, you can't come into my page knowing that I'm a single father who fought tooth and nail for his child because it was the best thing for my child, who did everything and has done everything he possibly can each and every day to make sure his kid is taken care of. That I cannot and will never be a good parent simply because I am a man. Grow up.